Today on Public Eye News, M28 is closed due to whiteout conditions, and a Menominee man has been sentenced on sexual assault charges.
Later in the show, Adam Diaz will have your weather and Caleb Rydell will have your sports. Hi, I'm Joseph Sigourney.
I'm Alexis Ham. Welcome to Public Eye News. A Northern Michigan University ceramics major has designed special edition WNMU-TV mugs to sell for the station's upcoming fundraiser. Nika Hatfield has collaborated with WNMU-TV to create 25 unique mugs with hopes to gain donations for the program. This is the first time the art and design department has collaborated with WNMU-TV, and it certainly won't be the last. TV broadcast and production manager Bob Thompson said, quote, "We jumped at the idea. President Erickson encourages collaboration on campus, and we thought this would be a perfect match," unquote. These sort of collaborations help to give departments within the university a chance to meet others on campus and get a look into what each of them does. And this morning, a section of M28 has been closed due to whiteout condition from severe blowing and drifting off of Lake Superior. The section of closed road spans Cabogam Road all the way to Munising, and it is unknown how long it will stay closed. There is an alternate route to get around the closure via M94, but that road may not be much better. The National Weather Service has predicted that an additional 2 to 6 inches of snow and winds reaching 35 miles per hour are expected tonight along the lake shore east of Marquette, and to drive cautiously no matter where you are.
Jordan Patrick Etherton, 24, of Menominee, was sentenced to 2 to 5 years in prison for the sexual assaults of 2 Menominee women in 2015 and 2018. Etherton pleaded guilty on November 7th of 2019 to 2 counts of attempted criminal sexual conduct, 3rd degree. According to the Menominee County prosecutor Jeffrey Rogg, the 2018 investigation was initiated when the 19-year-old victim reported the assault to the Menominee Police Department 9 months after it happened. The incident happened at the victim's home. The victim reports she was too scared to report the incident at first. The Chippewa County Sheriff's Office reports a fatal crash in Rudyard Township Thursday night. The crash happened at around 10:15 p.m. on Tilson Road near Strawberry Lane. Upon arrival, deputies found a small car heavily damaged in the middle of the roadway. The driver, who was the lone occupant, was ejected from the vehicle and found nearby in a ditch. The driver has been identified as 42-year-old Trevor David Becker of Sault Ste. Marie. Evidence suggests he lost control of the vehicle and ran off the roadway. The vehicle then struck a large tree and spun back into the roadway. Speed, driving too fast for conditions, and not wearing a seatbelt appear to be contributing factors to the fatal injuries.
And recently, many adventurers have been traveling to the Stampede Trail just outside of Denali State Park in Alaska to find a specific landmark, an abandoned van. This van was the home of young Christopher McCandless during a time of discovery for him while he survived the Alaska wilderness, but unfortunately met his death in 1992 after the banks of the Tekalinka River would not subside for him. For many people, Christopher McCandless' story has been a source of inspiration since the release of the 1996 Into the Wild book and film. Where issues rise is when people follow in McCandless' footsteps and find themselves having to be rescued or even dying while in the harsh terrain. Families of some of those who have died have recently proposed building a footbridge over the river to reduce the risk of losing any people seeking adventure. And more than a month into the beginnings of the 2020 census in Alaska, workers going door to door have become frustrated by not knowing when they'll receive their next assignments. Other workers have bought gear to help protect them from the bitter Alaska cold, but will not be paid back for it. They've also dealt with the issue of being unable to reach their smartphone app to log their worked hours due to time being in the field. The census in Alaska may preview these issues as they continue their count in the spring season. And while the conditions in rural Alaska pose obstacles such as weather, some of those work conditions may be enough for the Census Bureau to name this the largest peacetime that the U.S. government may undertake. And after this break, we'll be back with your weather and your national and international news.
From the Mother Church of Country Music in Nashville, Tennessee, join Ken Burns for an unforgettable concert and celebration of the history of country music, with performances of some of country music's most iconic songs by some of its greatest artists. Country Music live at the Ryman, a concert celebrating the film by Ken Burns.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back. Many Afghans view Saturday's expected signing of U.S.-Taliban peace deal with a heavy dose of well-earned skepticism. They've spent decades living in a country at war, some their whole lives, and wonder if they ever will reach a state of peace. The deal, expected to be signed in Doha, Qatar, is meant to set the stage for a U.S. troop withdrawal and to usher in talks among Afghans on both sides of the conflict about the country's future. Also on Saturday, U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg will sign a declaration recommitting the international community's commitment to Afghanistan. A powerful winter storm has brought frigid cold and piles of snow to much of northeastern U.S. Some parts bracing for even more severe weather this weekend. Don Dollar reports from Adams in upstate New York.
If you could see it, Highway 81 is right over here. This is something that the meteorologists are calling a fire hose effect, where all of this snow is being pumped off of Lake Ontario with very high winds, and it could end up dumping 3 to 4 feet in this area. You could barely see through the blustery snow as it barreled through upstate New York. Plows struggled to get the upper hand, with snow piling up almost as quickly as it was cleared. Waves slammed the shore of Lake Ontario, where a warmer winter has left most of the Great Lakes ice-free. Those conditions have combined with this storm's cold, dry air to create heavy winds and snow. But Jerry Hudson of Adams, New York said it's business as usual.
Treacherous, whiteouts, windblown. It's just winter again here in upstate New York.
The New York Department of Transportation posted this video warning commuters that the safest place to drive is behind plows on clear roads. But whiteout conditions still cause tractor-trailer accidents here and in Pennsylvania, where parts of Interstate 90 were briefly closed after 2 semis jackknifed. The National Weather Service says this storm is far from over, even for areas outside this so-called fire hose region. They could expect an additional 2 feet of snow through Sunday. Don Daler, CBS News, Adams, New York.
The presidents of Russia and Turkey have spoken via phone call today to make an effort at diffusing tensions. These tensions have significantly raised in Syria following the death of 33 Turkish troops via a Syrian airstrike attack. This attack marked the deadliest day for Turkish troops since Ankara entered the Syrian conflict back in 2016, and the most serious escalation between Syrian and Russian-backed forces. The situation may be serious enough that the prospect of a war, including the Syrian and Russian military and millions of Syrian civilians, would be stuck in the middle of it. 28 of Turkey's allies have expressed their condolences over the deaths and have encouraged de-escalation of the whole affair before things become severe. In one of his last royal engagements, Prince Harry is using his voice to give back to wounded veterans. CBS's Gwen Baumgartner reports from London, where his pitch-perfect collaboration is taking place.
Rock meets royalty outside one of the world's most iconic music studios, Abbey Road. Prince Harry and Jon Bon Jovi are taking a note from the Beatles, who recorded many of their albums here. The pair came together to re-record Bon Jovi's song Unbroken, which highlights PTSD in soldiers.
Was it worth it?
The song struck a chord with Prince Harry, who in addition to serving in the British Army, also founded the Invictus Games. The games bring together sick and injured military members for competition and camaraderie. The song will raise money for Harry's Invictus Foundation.
He's a wonderful young man, who has served his nation, both in and out of uniform. He's a special guy.
But Prince Harry isn't the only new addition. A choir of veterans were also brought in to record.
Yeah, it's beyond cool, isn't it?
It's surreal.
Yeah, so excited about it.
Bon Jovi jokingly called Harry the artist formerly known as Prince, with his royal tour soon coming to an end. Harry, along with his wife Meghan, have agreed to drop their royal titles and duties at the end of March. One thing that isn't expected to change is Harry's work with the Invictus Games. He says he's committed to helping fellow veterans, though next time it will be on the basketball court instead of in the studio. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, London.
And after this break, stay tuned because we will have your weather and sports.
Hi, I'm TJ Levinsky. Join me for 20 years of my music on your PBS station.
16 candles, like
like a rhinestone cowboy. I'm looking clouds from both sides now. Sugar pie, everything I love you. Your love lifted me high.
Sunday night at 8:30.
And welcome back to Public Eye News Weather. I am Adam Diaz, your weatherman today, and behind me is the NMU campus, where students are gearing up to go on to their spring vacation. And hope safe travels to all of them. Current conditions, mostly cloudy, temperature at 21 degrees, winds northwest at 23 miles an hour, barometric pressure at 29.97 and rising. Looking towards tonight, we're going to have partly cloudy, the low of 13 degrees, winds northwest at 25 miles an hour. Take a look tomorrow, mostly sunny, the high of 32, winds west-southwest at 20 miles an hour. And taking across the UP, we are starting at Sault Ste. Marie at 19 degrees and snow. Going looking at Manistee at 22 and cloudy, Escanaba 23 and partly cloudy. And taking a look at Menominee at 26 and sunny. Also sunny at Iron Mountain at 24, Ironwood at 20 and partly cloudy. Hone also partly cloudy at 20. And beautiful Marquette at 21 and mostly cloudy. Taking a look into your week ahead, we're going to have Sunday, the high of 43, the low of 28 and mostly cloudy. Monday, the high of 35, the low of 21 and cloudy. Tuesday, the high of 40, the low of 27 and mostly cloudy. It looks like it's going to be heating up during the next few days, and I hear it's heating up for the NMU hockey team.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. We have the rivalry weekend this week, and it's fantastic. All right, the Northern Michigan University Wildcats are taking to the ice tonight to face off against rival Michigan Tech. The odds for the game are not in favor of the Wildcats tonight, as the previous games against Tech this year have both ended in losses. The Cats are finally off a 5-game lose streak that ended with the second game against Lake Superior State last weekend when they won 5-1 on Saturday. The games against Tech this weekend will mark the end of the regular season, and starting next week, the playoffs and postseasons will commence. If the Wildcats win either of the games this weekend, they will host games in the playoffs. Best of luck to our hockey team. And the NMU swim team has 19 representatives that will be competing in the NCAA Division II National Championship next month, taking place in Geneva, Ohio. 7 swimmers will compete in relay races, while 8 swimmers will compete in individual races. Alongside these swimmers are 4 divers that will be competing in pre-qualifying rounds in order to secure spots for the championship round. The males representatives heading to Ohio are Ivan Emilio Escobedo, Lejos Boudet, Roberto Camara, Andrej Zak, John Buse, Philippe Lemos, Amir Salmon Kjiji, and Jonas Reinhold. For the women, it will be Jenna Jorger, Michaela Nelson, Gabriel Spajek, Brianna Arnold, Jules Ingresser, and Margaret Vikas. And Olympic Chinese swimmer Sun Yang was found guilty of refusing to cooperate with sample collectors over drug testing. Yang, who is known for China's greatest swimmer and is asked for a public trial with the Court of Arbitration for Sport after an incident with blood samples. In September of 2018, Yang had to take a blood sample for drug testing when an incident occurred involving Yang's mother instructing a security guard to break the casing around the vial as the swimmer was present. Yang is the first Chinese swimmer to get a gold, but now will not be able to compete in the 2020 Olympics as the court decided that he will have an 8-year ban due to his conduct. Well, Joe, I mean, you get an 8-year ban. That's basically, 3 Olympics that you're going to end up missing. So it's unlike. I'm kind of wondering if he's ever going to come back and swim again for the Olympics.
Very true.
But that's all the time we have for you today at Public Eye News. Thanks for tuning in, and we have a break right now. But after the break, we will be back with Public Eye News. Thank you.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.